What's up, Nerdlings?
What's up, Nerdling?
It still did not need a sequel. Part 2 for the games.
No, you didn't say it right. It's part 2.
Yay!
We reached out once again to some of our Polo pals to talk about some more video games that did not need a sequel. And I'm going to toss it right over to the Queen of the Slaps, J-Love.
A game that I didn't think needed a sequel. I'm gonna really twist some nipples because this is a very unpopular opinion. Donkey Kong Country. Sorry guys, I didn't like the second one and I damn well didn't like the third. Donkey Kong Country, when that came out, I was only 13. I played it religiously and it honestly came at a very rough time in my life. And that's probably why I favor it, I'll be honest. So I'm a little bit biased due to their circumstances, but the gameplay was so much fun. I loved the soundtrack. I loved playing as Donkey Kong, honestly, more than Diddy Kong. And that's probably why I favor it as well, which you don't really get that option in Donkey Kong Country 2. The squawk vine level pissed me off. It was more difficult and frustrating for me, I guess. And I would say that the save states, I was not a fan of buying, like spending those coins to save it. I didn't like it at all. So I know a lot of people will say the opposite. They like the second better, and that's personal opinion. But yeah, I would say Donkey Kong Country was so perfect, it didn't need a sequel. Sorry guys.
Ooh, that game's going to get slapped so hard because J-Love says it does not need to be there. Donkey Kong Country was an amazing game. I loved it. And I only ever played the first one. I never actually played any of the others.
No.
I always meant to, which is weird, but apparently it didn't need a sequel, so never mind. All right, now I'm going to throw it all the way over to the hills with RetroWolf.
When I think about what games did not need a sequel, the game that immediately pops into my head is The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Now, I know what you're saying. Well, Matt, RetroWolf, all Zelda games get sequels. Yes, but The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time got a direct sequel that took place after Ocarina of Time, and that game is The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Now, let's backtrack for just a second. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time was a almost perfect 10 out of 10 game with a pretty much perfect ending that tied everything up really nicely. It did not need a sequel for that reason alone. And then they made Majora's Mask. Now look, Tom, Lacey, get ready to get some hate in the comments because I am on the camp of people that cannot stand Majora's Mask. I do not like that game, and the reason is because of the time mechanic. The time mechanic completely and utterly ruins the game for me, and it's a shame because I know if not for that mechanic, I would have liked Majora's Mask. I have no doubt. That is a sequel that should have never happened. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time did not need a sequel. I don't really know what they were thinking. I mean, I guess they were just trying to capitalize upon the success of Ocarina of Time, but instead of making a direct sequel, they should have just moved on to the next Zelda game in the series in a different timeline. But instead, they made a game with a horrible time mechanic that ended up being, in my opinion, one of the worst Zelda games ever made, period. Come at me in the comments.
Oh, he's going to drown that game in delicious moonshine. I have to agree with him, though, because I hate the time mechanic in Majora's Mask. I love the idea of a darker Zelda game, and I like to explore my Zelda games, so I don't like feeling rushed. I know there are things that you can do to circumvent that, but it doesn't matter. I still have that pressure. I don't feel like I can play the game the way I want to play the game.
But you never like time mechanics like that.
No,
like
ever, no game. And this one wants me to play Majora's Mask for her.
It looks cool.
It does. This is why we need to be able to play DS and 3DS games on the big screen so that we can have that nice Majora's Mask HD version.
Yeah,
so if I have to replay it, I can at least play it for you looking as nice as possible.
It gives you an excuse to replay it.
Exactly. All right, well, we've got one more Polo Pal that we're reaching out to, throwing it over to Retro Rob.
Hey, hello there. Thanks for having me on. This is really cool. I've never done the long form vid, so this is awesome to try something different. Yeah, games that didn't deserve a sequel or didn't need a sequel. And there's a lot of games out there that I'm sure didn't deserve one or didn't need one, but I'm gonna go with an odd one here, which is Epic Mickey. I played it on the original Wii, finished it. It was a very frustrating game at times with poor camera angles, poor controls. But I gutted it out. I made it through. It felt like a game that took forever. Like it felt like it would never end. But then what do? I decided to go pick up the second one, Epic Mickey 2. It's the power of 2. And it wasn't any better. The controls were way worse. On top of it, you could work co-op. I tried playing this with my daughter. We were both frustrated as all get out. They didn't really improve on anything from the first one, so I'm like, I don't really think they needed to make it. I also saw that it was put on the Wii U, so I think visually on the Wii U, at least it looked better, but it still didn't play any better from what I understood. I'm not gonna try it. I've got the Wii one. It's just still sitting here. That's my take. People can let me know in the comments, what they think of Epic Mickey. There's a newer version out too called Rebrushed. I saw on the Switch and other platforms. I haven't given it a go, given I was still frustrated from the first one playing it. And since I've already beaten the game, I don't know that I want to try and beat it again. But yeah, this is awesome, man. Thanks for having me on. Make sure you all sub to Do You Nerd, and have a good one. Take care.
He's gonna go John Wick on that game. Yeah. So Epic Mickey, a couple of games that you've been looking forward to trying.
I'm forward to playing both of those, and if the second one wasn't that great,
I guess you could just jump to Rebrush at least.
I'll give it a shot. We'll see if he's right.
Oh, there you go.
We'll see if he's right.
So for me, another game that I really feel doesn't need a sequel is Metal Gear Solid. I don't think we needed Metal Gear Solid 2. Now, first of all, they went about that the wrong way. That whole bait and switch thing with the trailers and the demo. Look, it's Snake. He's back. Play as Solid Snake again. And then you play as Raiden. Excuse me? The story is also super convoluted. It just doesn't feel the same.
There's room for only one Snake and one big boss.
Looks like you were long overdue for retirement.
And you're doing all of Snake stuff, but you're playing as a different character. I don't know. I really feel like the whole bait and switch is what turned me off of it. If I'd known from the start that I'd be playing as someone else, maybe it wouldn't have left such a sour taste in my mouth.
Maybe you'd have a different expectations.
But also the way Metal Gear Solid ended, it was nice. It was open-ended. It left a few questions out there. You're kind of curious. It's a good cliffhanger. You didn't necessarily need to follow that up. It's like have the mystery, let it live on and on.
I think it's time we look for a new path in life.
A new path?
A new purpose.
Will we find it?
We'll find it. I know we'll find it.
Metal Gear Solid didn't need a sequel. Metal Gear Solid 2? No thanks. What about you? What's another video game that did not need a sequel?
No. Sticking with it. Last of Us 2, not need happen. We don't need Abby.
Is that the main reason?
No, it's the second reason. But she is very irritating to me. They try to make you like her, but she's just not likable. The things that she's doing is not intelligent. Two wrongs don't make a right. I realize that you're very, very upset about your dad's death, but you've got to think about it. You want revenge for your dad's death. So do you think going and killing another person's dad, they're not going to turn right around and do revenge on you? I didn't like how you went back and forth between Abby and Ellie, and they didn't pit well against each other, and it was literally, they were both tit for tat. They would do something terrible to the one, then the other one would do something terrible to the other one, and then at the end of the game, you really had no idea who you wanted to win at the end.
I wanted the credits to roll at the end because I was so done with it. But anyway, all right, so didn't really mean to do a follow-up to that one, but the first time around when other people were saying Last of Us 2, I couldn't resist kind of splitting these up. So yeah, here you go. You got an unofficial sequel here for games that did not need a sequel, but we hope to reach out to our Polo pals with some more fun questions in the future. But let us know in the meantime in the comments down below if there are any more games that you can think of that did not need a sequel. Let us know why too, and what you thought of any of the selections here. We'll see you next time, nerdlings.
Bye, nerdlings.
So